This guy's breaking records left, right and centre. I want to see players like this at the World Cup, and that's why I'm happy there's an extended World Cup that gives nations like Norway a real chance. But Italy, on the other hand,
We were watching that Norway-Italy game, and there's a lot of Italians here who work at CBS Golazo. But how much of a dent will that be for Italy, and how it's a huge result for Norway?
I mean, it's a massive result, Liam. It really is a huge result for Norway. Norwegian football, obviously, as they go forward. They've just beaten a juggernaut in Italian Federation, and they absolutely smashed them. And the first half was just special, I think, for Norway. The way they played, the style was pretty much attacking football. I think they invited a lot of pressure from Italy, making Italy believe that they were going to dominate this game. They enjoyed for the first, 20 minutes of this match, a lot of possession. And then Norway just played this counter-attacking style at pace, but also with quality, which we didn't see from the Italian team. But the goals that Norway scored in this game were just of pure quality of the highest nature. I actually was very impressed because I've seen Norway play multiple times. We know the names on paper are excellent. As a group, they can be better than what they've shown us in recent years. But this result is an absolute smashing. Yeah,
looking at the statistics here, I think Norway played a tactical blinder on the counter-attack there. Only 38 possession, but as you know, it's what you do with the ball that counts. Yep. 8 shots, 4 shots on targets, and they take 3 goals versus Italy 3-0. And we were talking about it watching the game, the counter-attack. When you've got a player like Erling Haaland, you've got Odegaard, who's not coming off his best season for Arsenal, but someone with that creative quality. It works, doesn't it?
It does work, and it's very pleasing on the eye watching that style of football. You know yourself, obviously, being someone who's playing in the offensive third, you always have to have that creative brain that can slip you in at the vital moment. And when you've got world-class finishers, I mean, the first goal from Sorloth was excellent. Once he got him behind, utilising his pace, obviously, was one thing, but his strength is what is, I think, his biggest attribute. And then his finishing, 24 goals in 62 appearances, which is exceptional for the national team. It tells you that offensively, they're so dangerous. They can certainly score goals, that's for sure, and of course they continue to do so in the first half.
And looking at the lineup here, it's definitely front-loaded in the offensive area. A player that you highlighted, Nusa, he's been so important for his club, and we saw the quality again today.
Yeah, very good player. Obviously, arriving at Leipzig has been very frustrating for him. His 5th national team goal for him. He got 5 goals in 36 appearances across all competitions for Leipzig since he arrived from Bruges, or Brugge, however you want to pronounce the name. But he's got that immense ability to be able to ghost past defenders. I used to hate playing against pace because you never knew which direction they were going to go, right? And then also, he's got this footballing IQ, this footballing brain that sometimes he's done you before he even gets the connection to the ball. His first touch of the ball is so good, it's so exceptional. For any defender out there, it's very difficult to mark that, and obviously the way he played a role in getting an important goal to make it 2-0 was great. Haaland's goal was something out of a video game, wasn't it, though? The passing behind from Odegaard.
He's not real. I've given up trying to talk about his finishing, but Norway, a proud footballing country. But there's a drought all the way back to '98 for the last time Norway made it to a World Cup. Could this be the year that we see Norway qualify for a World Cup?
I certainly hope so. The Italian fans are hoping that's not the case because you do have that one automatic qualification place, obviously, throughout this group. Italy don't want to finish second and they don't want to have to go through the qualification. They're going to want to qualify immediately to the World Cup. But yes, I am a big fan of this group. Obviously, the average age of the starting 11 was around 26 today, so they're in great position to have success going forward. But when you've got Erling Haaland and you've got a Martin Odegaard, you've got world-class players, and it's about trying to get the best out of the other players around you. Sorloth's not far away from that. Nusa's young and exciting and still can get to that level, but he's got room for improvement. I thought Thorsby in midfield was excellent today, another real creator that they've got there. Defensively, they can improve. I think that's where they would be vulnerable, but I'm going to show my age a little bit here. I was actually at the World Cup when they competed in 1998. They played against Scotland, and the famous Craig Burley scored in that game against Norway. But the names that Norway had back then compared to now, it's very similar. I'm starting to recognise that 2 or 3 world-class players can maybe get you on that world stage.
I was 4, but look at us now, sat here together. Eh? But speaking there of the talisman, you've got an Erling Haaland.
Yep.
World-class strikers at the minute, they're gold dust. How important is it for Norway to keep him fit, and how key could he be to making sure they're on the plane next summer?
Yeah, I was intrigued. I wanted to look back and see how many goals he'd actually scored in calendar year 2025, obviously for City. It's 12 and 18 games. Remember, he had those injuries that he was dealing with and only came back for the remaining few games of the season, and certainly a big miss. But I think for Manchester City, their biggest output would be what's going to happen in the FIFA Club World Cup. Many people probably don't think that's the case, but with all the money that's at stake. Erling Haaland's going to be vital for City, and now he's rested and ready to go throughout the summer, all the way through to potentially next summer. It's massively important that City handle him well, that Norway protect him as much as they possibly can. But Norway cannot afford to slip up in any of these games, because you've got Italy, you've got Israel, you've got multiple teams who can also qualify automatically out of that group. But his record's ridiculous. 41 goals in 42 games is absolutely insane at the international level. This guy's breaking records left, right and centre. I want to see players like this at the World Cup, and that's why I'm happy there's an extended World Cup that gives nations like Norway a real chance. But Italy, on the other hand,
a big dent for them, isn't it? It's not been a good time for Italy. How much will this one hurt?
Oh, we're about to get into it in the next segment, but this one's going to hurt real badly. There's a lot of Italian fans out there who are starting to lose hope, that's for sure.
Now, Italy's World Cup roller coaster from hell. It seems a long time ago, since 2006, when they were champions of the world, and since then, it's been a difficult run for Italy.
It's been a minging run, it's been a terrible run, it's been a disastrous run, obviously in major competition, but still it is the Italian national team, obviously eliminated out of the group stage, which is nowhere near good enough, not even winning a game in 2010, which was a big disappointment after previously coming into the tournament as a champion. And then in 2014, I mean, again, that group stage just caught them by surprise. But I still think that obviously the Italian players that have come through their ranks, they should be qualifying for every single World Cup, and to not qualify in 18 and 22 is unacceptable.
Yeah, you look at 2018, 2022, it shocked the world to not see Italy, a country who we've known for such beautiful football, not at the World Cup.
Yeah.
And we see tonight, it's just getting worse and worse.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very difficult position for Spalletti, first and foremost, to be in right now. I think for those Italian fans out there, they're obviously questioning who's going to run this group of players going forward. It seems to me like there's a disconnect between a lot of players who want to play for the Italian national team, obviously maybe not necessarily in this camp, but have been very vocal in the media in the direction of Spalletti, and the connection between the management. It's nowhere near good enough, the performance they put out against Norway, though. Let's just get that straight. Even if you are in the starting 11 or players coming off the bench, to be losing 3-0 at half-time against a team like Norway, regardless of the players that they've got, the young, exciting players that they have, and obviously world-class goal scorer in Erling Haaland, they still got to be putting in a better performance than they did do in that first 45 minutes. The names on paper don't lie. It's a good group of players, but that performance, Liam, is certainly concerning for me.
A Norway team that hit the bar, hit the woodwork twice. Italy didn't do a good showing of themselves, and we spoke about it when we spoke about Norway, goal scorers being vital. It feels like Italy are lacking a number 9.
Well, they're certainly lacking a number 9. They're obviously having a lot of injuries defensively as well. Bastoni, Coppola and Di Lorenzo playing along that back line. And it was the first time that they conceded in the first half of a World Cup qualifier 3 goals for the first time in their history, which tells you it's a depleted squad. And I understand that the season's been long for a lot of players. And now all of a sudden you see a first 45 minutes like that. The biggest question I've got is desire. Where's that passion? I mean, we all love watching major competitions. One reason I love watching it is because the national anthem, you see the passion coming out of players, and you take that passion onto the field. That passion was completely lacking from pulling on that Italian jersey from almost every player that went out there. Spalletti's under pressure, though. That's where I'm going with this one. I think that he is very lucky that his team didn't concede another 3 goals in that second half. They did a bit better job in that second period, but altogether it was nowhere near good enough.
Yeah, a word on Spalletti. How far from crisis are we, do you think?
We're there now. I mean, Spalletti is in trouble right now. You can't go into this job. Obviously, he had a tremendous success at Napoli, and then you take this job over and you think that you're going to have immediate success. It doesn't work out for you. It's been very difficult for the Italian national team and certainly their supporters to even get behind any coach, especially missing out on major competition.
And you mentioned we hear grumblings of disconnects between the manager and the players. When you're in a changing room and you know that sort of things happen, it's hard to get around.
I don't think it helped him that Acerbi came out and said what he did do in the media. I didn't want to mention his name, obviously, coming into this matchup, but not wanting to be a part of the squad because of Spalletti. That doesn't help you in any way. But then you put a performance out like that, and then the first 45 minutes you get absolutely dismantled. Defensively, there's a massive problem. I felt a bit sorry for Donnarumma. He's gone off and had an unbelievable week. Couldn't celebrate it really because he had to get into national team camp and then got absolutely battered by 3-0 in that first half, and then obviously the end of the game as well. It's a tough time for Italy, but there's a long qualification process. That was their first game. I just think it's scary that there's only that one automatic qualifying place where Italy do not want to go through the playoff position. They don't want that. They need to qualify automatically, and that last game that comes up in the group against Norway could be a real tasty one.
Yeah, difficult trip for Norway to go to their place, but that game's going to have so much importance on it.
It's going to have importance, but I also think that between now and then we'll see a lot of things happen between the Italian national team, the players who will come into camp. Obviously, they need to be healthy. Defensively, they're missing some stars, but I think Spalletti's position there will be questioned between now and obviously what happens going forward. A number of big games for them coming up, obviously against Moldova and Estonia, the two home games that are coming up next, and you're basically caught up to the 9 games, the 3 games that teams have been competing in already up to this point. So therefore, I would expect them to take maximum points. If you don't take maximum points from those 2 games, then I think we could be seeing Spalletti out, and he might even get gone before we even get to those games. I mean, the pressure's on already, performance not good enough, the shouting and the writing might already be on the wall.
When you talk about international camps, you often talk about time players have with managers. How hard is it as a player when you're in a losing run, a difficult patch, to come in with international break with a short window to turn around this form?
Yeah, it's rubbish, isn't it, really? It's very difficult to do. It's a shame, really, that you don't have much time. You obviously are dealing with multiple injuries. I mean, from a US national team perspective, obviously, Pochettino coming over and taking over the national team job and then losing 2 or 3 players because they want rest is frustrating for a national team manager. This is a World Cup qualifier, and you've got players pulling out, players not wanting to be in squad, players obviously forced to pull out with injury. It doesn't help. So having that limited time on the training ground, not being able to implement your own tactics because you don't know what your starting 11 is going to be. You don't even know what your squad's going to be. I think it's a very difficult transition going from club game to the international game, and Spalletti's finding it very difficult right now. And the pressure from the media doesn't help either.